Yeah, you would assume that they probably want to go towards the Varus this time, considering that's what they left up to ban the Lee Sin. Varus has a better time in laning facing up against Ziggs. Ziggs cannot walk up to the wave post 6 because you can always go for Chain of Corruption, but still, that doesn't deal with any of the things that make Ziggs super strong.
And that's the big thing as well. It does feel like they left the Varus open and saying, look, do you prefer the Varus or the Ziggs? Either way, we're getting something that can clear waves, that can deal pseudo with the other one, depending on the matchup. And with the Zhao and the Olaf, we are getting two very aggressive junglers now in this match.
Exactly. Once again, we're seeing this return, but I feel like RNG are getting just about everything they want, right? This is very reminiscent of Game 1's draft, where they have the Ziggs and they have the Galio for the team fight presence. You get an engaged support, right? They can set it for the Galio. Olaf can do it too, and Xiaohu is going to be on aggressive physical damage top laner. RNG love to play towards that side, so once again have all the options to put together a comp for that.
Yeah, and once again, I would love to see something like a Syndra be able to come out and play a more like aggressive mid lane champion. You have the Zhao able to set up. You'd also have a ton of range coming out from that, so we'll see what they end up going with in the mid lane. They did obviously just lock in the Jayce for Breathe, so they are going to go back to what we hit on in Game 1, right? We said, hey, WE all split long, we're pretty decent at building these poke comps, putting together like these sieges, and it's really the only style they haven't tried yet. So they're going to go for that one. They're banning away some of the hard engaged tools that RNG would be able to pick up, and that would fit that side lane strategy that they're so known for. Exactly,
and like that Rise was an answer that Shanks had into the Galio in the mid lane is a pretty good one to be able to respond to roams and the likes of that. The Syndra is the other one too. So again, I feel like RNG have come in every single draft with a really good plan.
Yeah, and you can see there as well, LeBlanc, Rise, Syndra, all banned away. Those are the three champions we know Shanks to play. We know him in these drafts to say he is very proficient on. He will get absolutely none of them in this game.
Yeah, the only other champ he's really known for has been the Sylas. This was his go-to in the regular split before the nerfs did come out, and the fact that just everyone was playing champions like LeBlanc, like Rise, champions that had good laning phases into him, but he feels fine going up against his composition. Will do all right in lane, will get pushed in, but has some good ults to take away.
Yeah, because I think it's super important, especially when you're playing like a Jayce top side, a Varus on the bot side, like champions that do love to push and like hit tower, all this sort of thing. You need a mid lane champion that can definitely move, but I love this. The Lucian gets locked in for Xiaohu. That's a favorite. That's one he's loved to go back to in the past, and up against the Jayce as well. It's a nice matchup.
It was a spring must ban. MSI must ban, and obviously coming into summer, he's dabbled into some other things. He's looked into other things, but he's always have to fear the Lucian top. He gets such good priority. He always has the potential to solo kill him. In the great words of Frosker, probably the best Lucian top in the world.
He's 19-3 on the pick. I just looked it up. Again, those are counting his mid lane stats as well, but doesn't matter what lane he was playing it in. He was just so well known for this champion. It's going to be exciting to see this top lane matchup.
This is the guy that first locked in the Lucian mid lane against Faker's Orianna at MSI 2017, and he solo kills him. Absolutely crushed it. I might have been on stage as a referee. I remember. Xiaohu remembers, and now he's going to put it into the top lane as well.
Yep, and I'm just really excited for the composition overall, right? Because once again, RNG just, with this Ziggs, they found this style that just fits them so well, right? Global in the mid lane, really aggressive top laner. Ming's going to be able to get out of lane and find some roams as well. And it just sets up so well for the amount of burst that you have. Not a ton of like consistent DPS, but a ton of burst and great team fights.
Yeah, looking at Team WE, they round out their comp with that Rell. So they've got a way of jumping in with the Sylas, the Zhao, and the Rell, but they do have that safety with the Jayce and the Varus to clear waves.
Yeah, to me, this game is, it's like I have to look at the top lane matchup first and see what Team WE can do around that.
No longer, gentlemen, as we are going to jump into the rift for potentially the final time today. RNG one game away, WE looking to keep themselves alive and to try and push themselves back into some Worlds contention. Let's get some beautiful phoenixes.
Oh my god, I'm like the backdrop and everything. It doesn't get any better than this with Team W's season on the line. Xiaohu walks in and places the Warden. I do like, actually, this Aftershock choice for Cryin in the mid lane. I think it's very matchup specific, especially going against another melee champion in that mid lane, fighting with the E, with the W, you can proc it pretty easily. And, well, if you're in melee range of the Sylas, you're fighting him, so you do get a lot of value out of a keystone like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be all about the heavy trades. That's going to let you come out ahead. You don't even really need the Predator, in my opinion. This matchup is a bit of heavy trading coming out in the top side as well. Again, not all too surprising when you expect this this to be the focal point of the Rift. Still, though, Xiaohu now going to be able to do a good job of zoning Breathe off the wave, and both junglers making their way towards top once again.
And this is the big thing for RNG, specifically with the Lucian. You take the Corrupting Pot, you're looking for early trades, you're looking to basically just out-sustain your opponent, push in the wave, get those cheater recalls out.
Especially with the fact that, right, he's going Ares, looking for, like, short trades to get the damage off. Is a bit of trading coming out on bot side as well.
And you talk about a weird choice here on runes. Unsealed Spellbook for Ming Sett on the bot side. You're always seeing Aftershock on a champion like that, but I mean, RNG have rocked 3 TPs every single game this series long. At some point, it's going to be a 4th.
Yep, RNG going to be able to keep playing out the map. Might even lend better to Ming being able to look for some aggressive plays, you know, either around mid or in bot side river as well. But, oh, Cryin finding some good trades himself.
Yeah, you got to be so careful. If the Galio, especially early levels, once he hits that level 3, a surprising amount of burst in that kid if you get hit by absolutely everything. Curious to see now where the junglers are going to go. Looks like, actually, you can see in the minimap, Beishang skipping his red. He's level 3. He fully cleared bot, looking to do something top, but I think he feels like it's warded. Actually, no, he knows a Cryin's roaming in.
So the big thing is he has to, right? RNG are stacking 3 waves. Like, WE know exactly what's going on, and RNG are going to look to benefit off this.
Yeah, they're going to go for it. They have a ward over the backside, so they know exactly what is going on. They will get a sweeper here. This is pure denial onto Breathe. He just has to back himself away while that's been happening. Great satchel charge, missing, in a lot of trouble. Going down! Flash forward from Ming, and the Haymaker sets up the first blood.
Gala and Ming with just the absolute lockdown onto Missing. You know, first Ming pulls him on in, and Gala bounces him underneath the tower. Missing taking 2-3 tower shots. The straight up 2v2 kill for RNG's bot lane starts this game off with a bang.
I mean, Gala's been so clutch with the satchels. Elk.
Oh no. Oh no.
They just did it again.
Oh no. Gala takes a kill. Elk just flies too close to the bot lane, and you're 2v1. You can't do that.
Again, like pushing the wave too far forward. He had both summoners available. I can't understand why he wouldn't use them there. He'd be dead anyway from the fact that he was left there, but we're gonna see here really nice face breaker coming out from Ming. Does go for the crash down as well. Nice satchel coming out from Gala. And then the flash from Ming. Man, this is why we've called him the best support here in the LPL. And here, I mean...
Wait, they just did it again. They literally just did it again. They're just 2v1ing at this point. Bot lane, a complete disaster. Don't worry, guys. Ziggs wasn't a problem. Ming even worse to deal with for WE.
Oh, this is so bad in mid lane as well. Shank's forced to flash away. It's all falling apart, Lyric.
Dude, I just don't know what you do now. We were talking about, okay, the Ziggs sets up for the plays on the opposite side of the map, but now Ziggs is completely dominating you in the 2v2. Ming playing well, but we're going to see if WE can capitalize on the top side.
They're going to try go for something. Flash forward, knock back. Xiaohu in a little bit of trouble. They flash in on top of him. They should be able to secure this kill. Good trade back here for the first time. Beishang able to influence top side.
Yeah, like for the first time this series, it's actually Xiaohu getting shut down, but it comes at the same time that your bot lane has died 3 times in the 2v2 in just under 5 minutes. So they're going to have to get a lot of work done on the top side if they want to make up for that.
Yeah, luckily for the side of WE, they actually just got this kill after Xiaohu had just TP'd the lane, so is going to lose out on a bit of farm, and Breathe going to be able to equalize what he was down. But because RNG's winning so heavily on the bot side, I actually don't think that this top lane death is as detrimental as it should be. Because now RNG can just keep playing around this pushing lane and bot side. They've shown that they have the burst between the Sett and the Ziggs to even look for potential ganks and kills around this half of the map.
And this is the big thing as well, is that now that you're WE, now your bot side is, without any outside interference, losing so heavily in this early side, you feel pressured. You feel like you have to make plays. Again, you're the team that's 0-2 down. You're the team that are at last chance saloon in this series. You cannot afford to let the other team run away with this.
So things we have to look out for Team WE. Top lane already got the kill up there. That's obviously going to be great. Shanks has a TP advantage over Cryin, something to watch out for, especially as level 6 comes through too. You can steal that Galio ult and try to make plays around the map. But if you're trying to look at bot lane, there aren't really any deep wards you can flank to get a fight going. And well, Wei is moving up to the top side. Should have seen Beishang walk into the Dragon Pit over the Scuttle Crab, and he will be spotted out here, but it's possible that you stack this next wave and try to deny Breathe, who's flashless under the tower.
Yeah, and you have the Galio ultimate available as well, so a little roam up towards that top side. You should be able to get this dive going. Breathe pushes in the wave just a little bit, dodges out an undertow, flash forward. There is the hero's entrance like we talked about. The Dragon goes down, the flash forward into the taunt. They're going to be able to secure that kill. Wei will pick it up. RNG doubling down.
Yeah, they invest so much, but they got everything they wanted. They get the kill. They're going to deny Breathe way more CS. Doesn't even have a TP to get back to lane. Xiaohu getting more gold. And WE looks like they're position to look for an answer on the opposite side of the map. Ziggs not level 6 yet.
And Shanks did steal away the hero's entrance. So there's 4 players in the bot lane very, very soon, but the wave is getting cleared away.
They're getting cleared away. Beishang going to try and go forward. They use the hero's entrance and just not really in the most optimal position. They're able to zone them away, but they don't gain a kill.
Yeah, I mean, just a satchel charge, right? Gala's satchel charges have been so good this series so far. Gets him out of harm's way, not even having to blow the flash. And again, it just goes back to RNG pretty much winning on both sides of the map.
Yeah, you also had like Ming switching over to the summoner heal right there. So if they had actually pushed too far forward there, it would have been rough. And Breathe walks back into the top lane, and there's still an Olaf here.
Deja vu. I have been to this place before. Breathe underneath this turret, trying to see if he can get away. Doing great work though to just not tank up the turret just yet. Now we'll use the Ragnarok into the culling. It's that simple.
No, no.
Oh no, missing. He just about gets himself out. Ming and they're so close. Gala forced the flash from the chain of corruption. No, not able to get him with the flash and the Q. Elk tries to bring it back, but he just can't get that bit of damage.
Yeah, both sides so close, right? Missing, almost going down at first. Would have only taken one more auto or bomb coming out from Gala. And then nice job by Elk realizing, hey, I still have the chain of corruption. I can walk forward. Again, Ziggs not comfortable in this position, forcing the flash away. Nothing happening in the end, though. Pretty nice for the side of WE, who is still 3,000 gold down.
Yeah, they're 3,000 gold down. You can see that topside deficit just ever growing so much more. And even then, as well as that, Beishang having to invest so much times into these lanes, he's falling behind in camps as well, about 4 camps behind on his end. So right now, WE, they are falling a little bit behind. I just want to see if they can make a comeback, even just a tiny bit.
Yeah, because I mean, one of the big differences when you had those cross maps there is way on top of killing Breathe a couple of times, is also taking all the topside camps, whereas Beishang couldn't say the same. You know, spent so much trying to set up that dive, then wasn't able to get the kill, ended up backing up, going towards his own jungle. So that's where a lot of the advantage does come through from Wei. About 4 or 5 camps at this point in time. It's looking very good for him on the Olaf. His ultimate's going to be coming back very soon as well. So RNG are like, yeah, sure, come to the Herald. I guess you want to fight us, but I feel like RNG are so strong here if they want to do that.
I was just about to ask as well, how do you get back in as WE? We know what RNG want to do, but what do WE want to do?
I mean, I feel like from this position, it's still going to be quite hard from the fact that Gala does have the teleport available. So I actually don't think W should be opting into any kind of skirmishes around the Rift Herald right now. Maybe just, again, looking to go where RNG isn't. You see them on the top half of the map right now, channel it through mid lane, push that in, get some vision down on the bottom half of the map. Sure, Gala does have the bomb, so it can be quite annoying, but I feel like you just can't match RNG right now where they're playing with the Varus on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, the big thing now, as you can see, is that RNG not 100% set up to start this Rift Herald. They are just roaming Ming up now. They will have that first rotation there, and like you said, it looks like WE just aren't interested in this Rift Herald, or rather, not even regardless if they are or they aren't, they just can't contest it.
It's the right choice, though, from Team WE, and I feel like they've become a little bit more measured in their play since Game 1, where they were just throwing themselves in every single fight they could. And that was not a very good look for them, so smart by them to end up giving this one up. Gala isn't going to be pressured underneath the spot side tower either, so, you know, RNG are very content to just continue as it were. And the question you would ask WE there is, well, is there anything to gain on the bottom side of the map? And there wasn't, right? Wei had taken all of his camps. You're playing into the Ziggs again, so all Beishang can do is go to clear his jungle and I guess Missing get some wards in the river. That's the only trade they can get. But again, it all stems from that Ziggs pick, which I still can't believe they let through.
Absolutely, and of course you do see Gala giving a lot of respect to Elk, saying, look, I know it's past level 6, you mentioned it in the pick ban. You can kill me if I get a little bit too complicit. So they are just backing away. We see Ming back at that bot side, and it's just a farm fest for the Ziggs.
Yeah, and you know, we're going to be coming into Dragon up in 45 seconds, so we're going to be seeing which teams control bot. So far, W've been doing a nice job of being able to constantly push in that wave, because remember, it goes back to the philosophy that Gala can't really walk up, Chains of Corruption too scary, but Missing...
has to use the crash down, does have the magic storm available. Wei is there, he's just going to chop down undertow after undertow, and that's a simple kill as it ever comes, and that's just exactly what you can do. No flash, or he is a flash for Missing, didn't want to expend it because he's probably dead anyway.
Well, I guess none of the vision ends up really mattering for WE when Wei can just bash your head in right there with the Olaf, has the Gore Drinker, so very nicely done. And now Herald on the bot side, using Herald around the Ziggs lane, that's just almost an instant tower exploding. You just whack this sucker a couple of times, drop the Ziggs satchel on it, and 100 to 0, tower gone in 10 seconds.
And now you're just set up so well for Dragon, right? You already have bot side pressure. They're going to have to answer the Rift Herald. A bit surprised to see Cryin actually roam up towards the top side rather than like hover towards the Dragon play itself. Both top laners do have TP, so there's potential for some 5-man action.
Shanks hasn't stolen ultimate yet, so he's still got a couple of options available to him. Second dragon is spawned. It is a cloud, so actually one of the more difficult drakes to take in those early games. You do take a lot of damage from those auto attacks it gives out. And we can see now Breed maybe going to try and all in on the Xiaohu. Doesn't land the accelerated shot.
I don't know if he wants all in there. He's down 2 levels, but mid lane, there's a couple of players from WE, and this is the problem with both top laners having TP, I feel, if a dragon fight were to break out, is it is just such a gap between these two top laners. Items don't look terrible for Breathe, but just the value of experience and those levels is going to be very meaningful.
Even items, right? Looking at jungle, like Wei has such a
Oh, Shanks, he's in a lot of trouble. He does steal the Ragnarok to stop himself getting CC'd, but Wei is just faster. He's got himself a Gore Drinker. He's got enough damage, and there's just nothing WE can do around this dragon.
It's just such a head scratch, right? Because we've seen numerous times this series where W are dying to picks when they have spotted the members of RNG on vision right next to where the pick's happening. So RNG going to be easily able to turn this one into a dragon, and we're sitting at 12 minutes where we're already to 5,000 gold lead.
Ming has more money than the entire top side of Team WE.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. It's not a great look. We do see now Beishang and Missing trying to move over. 3 of the, I would say,
I mean, now he's got a Flash
Forest
and a Gale Force.
Yeah,
like, there's
say,
outplay.
This is the 3 of the poorest people versus probably one of the most richest, so I don't know how this one works out for you.
Only 300 behind of Shanks and Elk, so
Yeah.
he's ahead of everyone else, only 300 by the other 2. It just shows how well, again, RNG been doing, but also just how many holes and how many openings WE have given to the side of RNG to where, again, they've consistently been losing on both sides of the map. When you see Wave playing towards top, their bot lane still winning, Cryin not even really needing to move.
Yeah, Cryin didn't really have to do anything. He had the one dive up in the top side that he helped out with. It's more of just having that hero's entrance and saying, Beishang, you can't actually gank any lane. You can't try to stem the bleeding because immediately I'm going to be there to respond. Breathe doesn't have any mana left whatsoever, and you can see both Gala, Wei, all on the way up towards top lane, and Missing and Breathe stick around way too long.
Breathe has to fully engage. He has no way of escaping. Goes back in underneath his tower, but the Ragnarok stops any kind of disengage. Settle charge into the passive auto attack. RNG are rolling them.
Yeah, RNG definitely wanting to finally stamp in that ticket to Worlds, wanting to get a bit of retribution, not necessarily against WE, but for the fact that they did underperform so heavily. They were a team we viewed as championship caliber in LPL playoffs, and now just saying, hey, we're done with these games, we're going to Worlds.
It's a comeback fight, but unfortunately for WE, they weren't the perpetrators of the first prime. They just happened to be the punching bag in the second one. That's just how it is, unfortunately, for them. There is obviously still opportunities here for WE, but they are slowly becoming smaller and less frequent.
Yeah, it is very, very tough because, again, like, RNG have so many tools that are great at, you know, stopping you from fighting them, right? Whether or not it's a Flash and a Gale Force from Xiaohu, you know, Lyric was talking about the Satchel Charge from Gala, the ability to clear waves and sort of stop you from running into it, on top of, like, the global abilities and everything else. Like, RNG seem to have an answer into every single punch that Team WE can throw their way, and as RNG continue to take down these outer turrets, eyeing mid lane as that next one, we saw in the last 2 games. They just walk straight into your jungle, force you out, all of a sudden your jungler isn't allowed to farm, and you are choked out as objectives just start getting handed away for free.
And again, you just never have a good way of walking into RNG's comp, and it just, I don't want to keep harping on the Ziggs, but it just keeps going back to that 6 point. But hitting on Ender just saying, right, RNG have just shown they have all the answers. Let's remember, RNG only had to play 1 series that WE have seen. WE have played, what, 6? Like 5 or 6 that RNG have been allowed to watch, allowed to learn from, and adapt to. So I feel like maybe we're also seeing a result of that in this series.
This is their 7th best of 5. You know, it has been, as I said, a miracle run does not come from 1 best of 5. It comes from several back-to-back best of 5s that you have to try and string together. It's why it is considered so difficult, because just straight up exhaustion and prep you need to do for so many different teams. It just, eventually you have to find a limit to that.
You know, that's why I was thinking maybe it's a good team WE didn't make it to the final, because if WE had made it to the final over EDG, they would have had to play yesterday and then come into playing today had they not been able to beat FPX, you know? So it could have been really rough. I guess it still ended up being,
I mean, the result is the same, the formula just different.
Yeah, but for WE, right, 7K gold behind. Even looking at how their composition can come back, right? I feel like we'd be talking about, like, really cheesy brush plays or sneaks like this. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you're kind of hoping RNG run it down into you 5 or 6 times in a row.
I think at the end of it all, like, this is a Worlds qualification match. RNG just need one more Nexus, and they take it. And this is the kind of showing you want to see from a team about to represent your region on the international stage, right? Like, RNG have shown some weakness in Game 2, mainly just sloppy play, but like through and through, this has just been class performances in the early game. Exceptionally strong team fighting as well from RNG through and through, and they're looking like a serious threat on the international
stage. The big thing right now is like why it was such a strange or surprising result when LNG took them down. RNG have looked like one of our top 2 teams the entire split. They looked like they were like this pretty much all the time. They had an off day, and they're coming back with even more vengeance. We can see here the culling here from Xiaohu, but he's got to be a little bit careful. Missing is here, and they know that they're going to fully commit to this. This is what you talked about, Lyric. The picks, they're trying to fully engage onto Xiaohu. He has nowhere to go. Shanks picks himself up a kill. It's not a lot, but it's something.
Yep, I mean, you're going to take anything you can as WE in this situation. Luckily, RNG weren't set up to take anything else. The sad thing is, RNG have all these TPs to play with, so now going to be setting up towards the mid lane, but pretty much for WE, you're going to consistently look to all in where RNG are focusing on side lanes, try and get that man advantage, and again, just take the small gold that you got, walk away, and then hope you can find it again in a few minutes. Yeah, and the Drake is still going to be here for RNG. WE, even with the numbers advantage, knowing that the TP is going to be up, RNG should be able to find that one, and, well, it's Xiaohu trying to get a lot of damage out. Like, Ryan, like, he absolutely crushes Breathe in that 1v1, but with the TP and everything else, this is Team WE with a good look, punishing side lane overextensions.
And that's the big thing as well. You could see from this play, with the teleport invested, the flash into the Magnet Storm there from Missing, there was no world in hell where WE were going to try and contest that dragon. They said, right, we get a pick, we get some gold, but now with the Rift Tail popped into the bot side, we are going to see that base getting chipped away from just a little bit more. WE losing more of their jungle, losing more territory as their towers fall. Yeah, and I wonder if this is an opportunity where WE would want to look to engage, because they just saw Cryin top. You'd assume they have Cryine's TV timer, and he definitely wouldn't be in range for heroic entrance. Here we go. There's the Everfrost down. It's going to force the Ragnarok out of way. We're going to see it almost go down. He's not quite dead yet, but the rest of WE are still pushing back. The Mega Inferno Bomb enough to dissuade the chase, and this is the problem with going into a Ziggs. You just can't follow up. I honestly think RNG are just super lucky there, in my opinion. I don't know why Cryin decided to show back on the wave topside, because it just opens the window for WE to know, hey, we're going to go all in right now. I think Cryin should have kept walking down again. The satchel was there from Gala to save them once again, but that could have been way worse. Yeah, WE also saw pretty much this exact same play back in the last game with the Herald and the Ziggs going into the bot lane, trying to walk it all the way in to the inhibitor tower too. So like, ooh, maybe these guys are actually going to try to stick around for yet another tower. They set that trap, and they find the engage to very nearly get a couple of kills there. Yeah, and the big thing, we can obviously take a bit of a time now. There's no real objective for either of these teams. They're going to just basically be ping-ponging the waves for as long until they have to find themselves in a fight. But looking at the history of WE, again, such a young team, but this is a team that has been in the LPL for the longest time, one of the oldest organizations in Chinese League of Legends. They finally found a roster, they built it up, they found pieces, built it bit by bit, moving up together, saying, right, we'll take Missing, you're good, we'll keep you going. Elk, aka Zhongmeng, right, you two work very well together. Let's add Breathe into the equation. Let's bring in Beishang, and eventually, we saw them bring in Mole this year as well. Didn't quite work out, but it has worked for Shanks. So regardless of how this game is going, I still think WE have done fantastic with the way they've set themselves up throughout the entire year. Again, they've been building off younger and more inexperienced talent, right? Not something we see like teams invest heavily into. You'll see them add 1 or 2 players, as it looks like we might potentially get some action coming out from RNG. Well, Wei does land himself under tow, forcing the crash down here from Missing. We are going to see a little bit of poke back and forth between these two sides, and this is just basically bread and butter here for RNG. You get yourself a Ziggs, you know you have more gold than the enemy team, you can push yourself over, you have 7,000 gold lead, a little bit about 6.5, as we now jump into that tier 2, and this is the one thing I will say for WE, they do actually have wave clear. They do, but it's hard because Ziggs can walk up with a passive, quickly poke down this tower, and then all of a sudden you've got an ulti to make it happen. Ziggs ult is traded back, though, from Shanks to clear away the wave. That'll be pretty effective, but again, in 20 more seconds, there's going to be another wave in that same exact spot. Look at the culling there, Missing and Breed taken down so low. So typically here, the team in RNG's position, you would actually see them like push out through top, walk into the enemy jungle, get some vision, maybe try to bait them into a Baron pit. But I think with RNG, having a Ziggs, having a Galio, maybe not thinking, they
could TP flank if they wanted.
Yeah, they're not going to go for it just yet, but you can see there, the poke from the Varus and the Jayce doing just enough to dissuade RNG from their siege.
Yeah, I do feel like RNG sort of mistimed some of their poke tools as well. Like, Xiaohu used the culling to get huge damage down onto Shanks, but there wasn't a wave there for like 20 more seconds. So Shanks bases and then has TP. All of a sudden, if you use that in tandem, like at the same time the wave is actually crashing into the tower, all of a sudden it's so much easier to force them off the tower and sort of sneak that one away with a quick satchel charge.
You're also doing it after the waves you had just pushed in are already on the bounce back, so WE are not in a position where any of their members need to leave either. They can actually just wait and watch RNG continue to waste time like they were doing. Again, luckily for RNG, they do have quite a significant gold buffer to where they are allowed to waste a bit of time, and it seems like on RNG's end, they're just waiting for the next dragon to come up.
And that feels like it is right now. WE know that the dragon's up at a minute. I don't really see them having a moment to try and fight it. They are still waiting for key second items. In fairness, they actually have finished up quite a few. Shanks now has got his Zhonyas. You've got the Eclipse here for Elk, so he's going to be able to poke and sustain just a little bit more. They have got options available to them, and Shanks might be feeling a little bit frisky if he can get on top of Xiaohu.
Shanks is level 14 actually, and Xiaohu's only level 12.
How'd that happen?
So I think it's because the mid laners have been going to side lanes too. Like Cryan's been in side lanes a little bit, but Shanks obviously was also a big benefactor. I think got the kill when they TP'd in and ganked Xiaohu, so you get a lot of catch-up EXP off of that too. So if there's a guy to look at on the side of WE, kind of out of nowhere, is Shanks to step up.
Yeah, and again, we highlighted him as someone who needs to step up to get himself in a position to go for it. And I do love that from Xiaohu. He recognizes, I haven't seen this man in a few seconds. I'm just going to put a ward down here to make sure nothing goes wrong. But Beishang now being pushed up towards this top side, doesn't quite have the support of his team. Breed just a little bit too far away. So you can see that WE are very much hunting. They're seeing if they can get a similar pick to what they did last time before the dragon goes down for RNG.
Yeah, it just goes back to what Ender hit on earlier. I feel like WE in game one were just very much like, we're going to contest you every step of the way. In game two, it was a bit of a mixed bag, and in game three, it seems like they're very conscious of like, okay, we fell behind. It's all about split mapping and looking for gold on the opposite side. Shanks does have more gold than Cryin from when the Observer scrolled over the gold. Actually, was even pretty comparable to Xiaohu. Is Chain of Corruption? I don't think it's going to do anything.
It's not going to do much, but there's a good bit of poke damage, so I can get my words out of my mouth. And again, we see the siege coming out from RNG. They drop down the Mega Inferno Bomb. Doesn't actually do that much onto Elk at the moment. So we see now, maybe they go for a little bit of engage. It is 5v4 in this mid lane. Culling comes out to put down a lot of poke damage, and they will use the satchel, but Ming very, very low. They have to disengage, and they trade a turret for turret.
But that's the whole idea, right, with the culling there, is you use that to force them back off the tower. You can quickly burst the tower and then back away. So that was all RNG really came for. They're going to continue to steal away these jungle camps too, and that is the huge benefit of having all these towers. You gain the jungle, you gain control over all the objectives as well. And now, I mean, WE are thinking about potential Baron sneaks from RNG, the Soul coming up in a couple minutes time as well, and whether or not their item breakpoints are going to be good enough, because Shanks is looking good. We've said it, right? Has the Zhonya's Hourglass completed now. It looks like Muramana has been finished off for Elk 2 on the bottom side of the map, so not too bad, but Rabadon's is not far off from Gala.
I feel like this is pretty decent for WE right now, though, right? Because as RNG, you've now taken the last of the inner turrets, so I don't expect RNG to be able to siege down those inhibitor turrets the same way they just did. And again, you could tell they are very cautious about just starting up the Baron. They're going to start retaking vision now, but you have red side Varus, red side Jayce. It's actually extremely good at poking you down while you are on the Baron pit. So they're going to keep getting more time to just get gold on those key carries.
And the big thing as well for RNG, there is no true tank. Ming doesn't have the aftershock. He has got himself the unsealed stealth but they're going to go in onto L because there's a TP coming off the backside. There's Shanks though, jumping straight onto Xiaohu. It's a fight on two fronts. Shanks looking to try and take down the big top laner, but he cannot get him. A flash is Muse and is able to get him out to safety. Beishang goes down, and now the Baron's looking mighty tasty.
Oh, the fight was just a little bit too split from WE, and Shanks couldn't finish off the kill onto Xiaohu. That was everything for WE. Xiaohu escaping because the rest of RNG are going to win when they're fighting on their terms. The poke is going to continue to come out. Now, all of a sudden, the Baron threat is back on the cards. There is no smite from WE, and WE must walk in face-checking into the river.
They're going to try and face check it right now. The crash down comes down from Missing to get himself over the wall. But look at the carries on the side of WE. They're healthy. Gala very, very low. And you can see the power of this poke. The Everfrost just a hair away from catching out Wei. And you can see Xiaohu, he was completely separated from that fight. He has to sustain up through the Red Bull.
And he was just taken so low, right? We saw off to the side him get chunked out by the Sylas. So RNG not feeling comfortable to go back to the Baron. Again, it goes back to the Jayce and Varus coming out for the side of WE. They know they can't risk it. But man, I love that RNG just keep using this ability off cooldown, trying to set up for either potential picks in this situation, maybe try to prevent WE from having the tempo to look for any type of sneaky Baron.
Yeah, so this play was good, right? Again, just getting the full charge of the ulti onto Elk there. Ming tries to chase him down too, and it's really on the bottom side of the fight where everything splits apart, right? Beishang there gonna die every single time, but Shanks, because he wasn't able to instantly get the burst down and kill Xiaohu just frankly has too much mobility. It's just so hard for Shanks to lock him down. Xiaohu escapes, then you don't have that threat of the Sylas on the bottom side of the fight. We're back into the same play we've seen a million times, though, for RNG. It's controlling around the Baron. Well, that is going to shift pretty soon, I feel, to play for the Soul.
And I don't want to sound like I'm being too optimistic, but this doesn't feel like RNG are the one. It doesn't feel like they have a 6,000 gold lead. It feels like WE have waited enough time to get to those item breakpoints, to get to the point of which they have opportunities to find themselves back. Yes, you lost that 1 for none, but it was very, very close for being a 1 for 1.
I think it doesn't feel like it's a 6,000 gold lead because we haven't seen WE or RG fully commit into a fight just yet, right? We have yet to see that full 5v5, but we're about to. Team WE, they've been giving up objectives all game long, waiting for this moment, waiting for the chance that they feel they can contest RNG, and now that the Mountain Soul is up in 40 seconds, it's WE fighting for control over the mid wave, putting vision in the bot side river, and getting their carries into position to put out the damage.
Yeah, and I think both teams, right, kind of went front to back. W's will be slightly different because you want to be bringing Shanks off on a flank, trying to find access onto the back line, whether it is Xiaohu or Gala. For RNG, they're just completely happy with this, as you're right. Rabadon's probably coming out. We are going to see here, but yeah.
Got it.
Rabadon's for Gala. Gala's going to be so massive with this poke.
So massive, and there's immediately using the ultimate. We can see now Ming trying to go in on top of it, but Ming is dead. That's a shutdown going down. Chain of Corruption's going to spread very nicely, but it's a support trade right now. They're trying to put the poke down, but look at this flank coming in from Cryin. He finds Elk, and he's down. Nothing he can do. Shank's trying to do something on the backside of this fight. He will take down Xiaohu going golden, but he's one man against the rest of a very angry RNG. They have a wave top, they have a wave mid, but they're going to go for the dragon instead.
They're going to take it all right there. RNG continue to dominate WE inside the team fights. It looked for a second there, Ming dropping down, that WE could make it happen, but RNG with the full-on control, Cryin waiting for that flank, and absolutely exploding Elk. It's RNG still on top.
Yeah, I'll be honest, guys. I feel like RNG probably could have ended had they just committed, but still, I mean, maybe just wanting some more time on the Rift to prepare for Worlds. They do still get the inhibitor in the end. And I mean, this is just going to do so much in like these extended skirmishes. We're seeing TP though.
They know it, Gala's by himself. They know he has no support. They're trying to just basically delay him from getting back. But Bree taking it in the half. That Rabadon.
What?
Boom, baby! Mega Inferno Bomb. Gala is just too damn big.
What is going on? Gala from the 2v2s playing with Ming, bumping, missing under the tower, killing him again, to there, the 1v1, absolutely crushing. RNG don't take their foot off the gas.
They do not. There's going to be the showstopper. It's going to stop everything from Beishang trying to get away, but now it's a 3v2, and the rest of RNG say, oh, sorry, dude, we don't want anything to do with this. The culling, though, is just ridiculous. They try to jump back onto this fight. Shanks will be able to pick up one. No, the sustain is just about enough to keep him alive, and force Shanks to make it a trade of 1 for 1. RNG are back. They've got Gala. He's no mana, but his passive is enough. It looked like WE might have found a sliver of hope, but RNG dashed it down.
And RNG just, again, showing up, all starting with Gala going for that pick. WE trying to find anything, desperately running in, thinking they have numbers advantage, throw it all to RNG, and RNG, once again, gonna take this one slow and go to the Baron.
RNG won that team fight with an honest-to-God AD carry Ziggs. Gala had 0 mana. He was only auto-attacking. He had his passive, whoop-de-doo, but straight up just win it in a near 4v5. RNG are just cruising through this game 3.
And you can see, look at the slight bit of it, but it's enough for a combo. He immediately goes, cool, there's my minefield, you can't move on to me. There's a satchel, ultimate, done. 3 points, off, side court, nothing you can do there, and WE, they're trying. They have nothing else to do. If they wait, they lose. If they fight, they lose. They have to go for something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you're just in these positions, right, you're looking for any small inch or any small opportunity you have. You pointed out great culling coming out from Xiaohu here to force Elk back, and Elk would be all the damage because it took Shank so long to bring down Wei with the amount of sustain that he does have. And like Ender pointed out,
just auto attacks.
look at Ziggs. No mana, just
Good
throwing down
God.
autos. The other members, you know, having enough in the tank to be able to do this. And now for RNG, with having that Baron, you feel like should be able to use the siege and the poke that they have to funnel in through mid and bot and look to end the game.
You'd certainly hope so, right? if we're sending this team to Worlds and they can't finish with a 10K gold lead Baron and everything, it's over, man.
He's got a lot of bigger issues to think about. But with a Mountain Soul, with the push, the Baron, they have all the tools in the world. They're going to take their I's and their T's, they're going to dot them and cross them and make sure they finish this game as perfectly as they possibly can. Good golly, Miss Molly, that's a hell of a lot of damage going onto Beishang, your arguably tankiest member on your team. And now with the next inhibitor going to be falling, it's RNG pushing into the base. RNG looking to make it back to Worlds. RNG who put their faith into Xiaohu, and they're going to have to put their faith into Gala as well. It's enough to take them down. WE will fall. RNG will be your third seed. They're going to pad the stats just a little bit, but they're going to be going to Worlds.
The MSI champions will represent the LPL at Worlds, and it's off the back of total domination over Team WE. A clean 3-0 RNG crushing through. Great performance from RNG. What we expected from RNG in the playoffs, we finally got.
Yeah, RNG rectifying those mistakes. They came in really good read on the meta, especially just on the champions that fit their style so well.